The big go button. We're live. All right. Welcome back, all you loyal listeners, to season 2, episode 4 of the Point 3 podcast. It is May 15th. We're thrilled to have you join us again. Shout out to everyone who is checking us out on a YouTube and TikTok live. Spider Brando, Hero Scroll, and of course, Lou, your favorite trio of hosts. We're going to be back today. We got a huge night lined up. Like, guys, how big is this night for us?
Huge.
Yeah. The biggest night in Point 3 history as of right now.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. We have a lot. We have a lot of news that we're going to be talking about that's going to revolve around the MCU. A couple other pop culture things that are be coming up. So drop some comments, follow along with us. If you're watching this live, we appreciate you. If you're watching this recorded, of course, we appreciate you as well, just as much. Big news, though. Big news. In about 25-ish minutes, we are doing a big time watch party over on our Discord. Check the description below. If you're on TikTok, check our links. Head on over to Discord. Jump into this watch party because it's going to be epic. It's going to be huge. Spider Brando put this together for us. He's the guru when it comes to that. But we are going to be following along here really quickly. Before we get into the news, though, 3 things that the Point 3 podcast always talks about. That is to keep watching, keep reading, and keep nerding out. Spider Brando, what are you recommending or what is worth watching from this past week?
Something that came out today, the Dune Prophecy trailer.
Oh,
That looks very, very promising. I saw that for the first time and got a little hooked on it. I had no idea it was a project that was even like in existence. I don't think a lot of people did, but I'm hooked for more Dune content, and Warner Brothers is flooding that train with the Dune franchise going forward, it seems. So I'm excited for it. Makes me not have to like go back and read the books to know the full history.
Boo. No, just kidding. They're worth a read. But Hero Scroll, keep reading. Anything you got from the newest comic releases? Something along those lines? What have you been reading this last week?
This last week, nothing brand new, but I have been reading Ultimate Spider-Man. I have the first volume in omnibus format, and man,
nice.
Ultimate Spider-Man is so good. Just genuinely some of the best that I've read. I think 14 issues in, and yeah, I can't get enough. It's funny that every time I put it down, I'm like, man, I want to keep going. So yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man. If you haven't read it, definitely recommend it. And if you've read it, then I recommend rereading it because I'm sure you'll get something out of it.
Fair point. Love it. We are cooking right now, and guess what? From a big old nerding out perspective here at Point 3 Podcast, I think it's easy to say X-Men 97. We're finally at the finale. Who hasn't been talking about this? Everyone is on this train now, and it is not stopping. So I have been nerding out hardcore about Cyclops. I went back and did like kind of like a rewatch from the beginning stuff, and then also some old 90s Cyclops, and the live action to animated Cyclops is just night and day. So here's hoping that the love Cyclops gets moving forward in the MCU potentially does him justice, just like they did in X-Men 97. So with that, we got some news. Hero Scroll, take us away.
Absolutely. A couple of weeks ago, DC swung at Marvel in the first round in the road to Superman / Fantastic Four, and they hit him. They hit him good. They hit him hard. They hit him with the David Cornsweat Superman image. And it was in that fight. It's in those moments in that fight where it's like, oh no, is this going to be over in the first round? But Marvel said, no, it's not. We're going to come swinging back.
Yeah.
You know who we're going to swing with? We're going to swing with Galactus. That's right. Last week, of course, the day after we do our live stream, because we can never have anything nice. Ralph Ensign has been cast as the voice of Galactus in Marvel's Fantastic Four. This comes along with also last week, John Malkovich reported being in a undisclosed role, and then today we're getting a little bit of a treat. Natasha Lyonne is also being cast in Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Before we talked about those two, though, obviously the big one in the room is Galactus. Gents, how are we feeling about this Galactus casting?
I'm curious to see what Spider Brando says. If I'm being honest with you, like, what is your feeling around this Galactus idea, or at least that it's confirmed and we finally have someone?
That dude has got a voice. And at first, I was like, who the heck is this? And I did some research. I remembered him from his role in Game of Thrones. And I listened to a couple of his voice lines before, and whew, that is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful casting.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear it.
I like it. And it makes me feel like we might have a multi-movie Galactus now. Because my fear was maybe it was going to be a one and done. But with this type of voice, this type of actor, someone who's not like the biggest of big, but at least they're known, it gives me a little bit of hope that they're actually going to be sticking around for maybe one or two movies or at least cameos. Gosh, I'm hoping like the big bad of the next phase, but maybe wishful thinking. I like it. I'm just glad that Galactus is confirmed. Hero, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that's my big like, okay, it's like sigh of relief type thing where we can finally stop being like, what if Galactus is in this movie? Now we know 100% that he's going to be, instead of constant rumors and constant, leakers telling us that this is going to happen. No, now we know, and we have a voice and a face to play it, which is great. And I think kind of along the lines of what you were saying, Lou, how Ralph is a very good actor from what I've seen him in and the games that I've heard him voice. And the cool thing to me is that also we'll see him obviously voicing Galactus, but it'll also give opportunity to really give pre-transformation Galactus, because in case anybody doesn't know, Galactus is basically transformed into Galactus. He is a someone from another planet named Galen, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. So hopefully we'll see that, get more personally attached to Galactus instead of it just being the big bad. So like you said, hopefully a couple movie villain, and I don't even know a villain, but who knows? At least a presence, I think, would be great.
That's right there. The presence feel. So whatever the motivation is that of how Galactus ends up on Earth, whether that's Silver Surfer scoping, they're chasing after Franklin Richards, they're whatever it might be, I think this casting does exactly kind of what you guys were mentioning, is gives Galactus something more than just being a world eater. There's a purpose behind this character. Huge dub. Huge dub. Shall we continue on with some more MCU news? You guys got anything else on Fantastic Four Galactus?
I'm just excited.
Yeah, I'm happy it's not Puss in Boots. Nothing against Antonio Banderas, but I'm just glad it's not.
Yeah.
Who was the other person that they there's rumors of someone a while ago that was like supposed to like so close. Remember we did a post on it once.
Man, I can't think of his name. He's got like a 3 name.
Both of them would have been cool.
I think I remember Liam Neeson being thrown in there.
Liam Neeson. That would have been wild.
On like a short list of some people's. There's another name that we're definitely missing though, because I know it's a big one, and as soon as it hits us, we're gonna feel kind of dumb for it.
What was he in? No Country for Old Men or something? Who's that guy?
Oh,
he was one of them. That was
Javier Bardem.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
guy.
I think
Bardem.
yeah.
Yes. That. Which he also probably could have. Honestly, all the actors that they threw out there probably could have been a very good Galactus, but Very quick, over on our TikTok live, we got a question from Funko Air. He asked, "How would Galactus travel the multiverse?" Just really quick theory for a second.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this Galactus is going to be the MCU's Galactus. It's going to be the Fantastic Four that are the multiversal travelers. But the Galactus that we see, I mean, there could be multiple Galacti. Does that work? It's like cactus, Galactus. Is it like cacti?
Yeah,
I would say it works.
Yeah, Galacti. But I think we may get multiple, but I don't know if Galactus is going to be traveling multiversal. You know, because each universe kind of has their own, right?
Yeah. Imagine just like a Council of Kings or like a Council of Galacti. That would be freaking. That would
Galacti. Is that going to catch on?
I think we need it on a shirt, Galacti, and it's like cactus, but it's Galactus. Yeah. The interesting thing is too, there were some plot details that started circulating around about Galactus and Franklin. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But even so, I see him being trapped in the Fantastic Four's universe, and then maybe in another movie or project,
like someone like transporting him into the new MCU, kind of like just him being scapegoated from one universe to another. Not scapegoated, but
here's what I will say too. In the original Secret Wars, Galactus does play a big part in its story. So again, if we think that, especially if you've been listening to to us here on Point 3 Podcast, we've been saying for a while that Secret Wars is probably going to be a mixture of the original series and the newer one. So I wouldn't be surprised if they mix those elements, and Galactus actually does have a big part in it. So
yeah, tough. We'll see who they establish in the Fantastic Four's realm, right? Are they multiversal or not? It's a tough play. It's something that we've been talking about. So as we get closer and we follow along as we go through our Road to Fantastic Four series. So we're getting close, almost a year out. So we'll definitely be discussing this a little bit more in depth, but let's move on because we do have some other big MCU news. Agatha All Along is going to premiere September 18th, 2-episode drop. Are you guys hyped? Not hyped? What's the pulse for Agatha All Along?
It's like, it's like
medium hype.
Warm. Yeah. I'm excited to try to build on like the Darkhold story and potentially have a final answer on whatever happened to Wanda and if she died by some rocks or not. But I am excited for the show because of Aubrey Plaza. I love Aubrey. So I just remember that she was in it. And other than that, I could care less.
I did appreciate the fact that they at least were able to poke fun of the name changes and make it into their marketing and being like, oh, it was Agatha, it was actually Agatha messing it up this whole time. Thought that was cute, but this is one of those projects that's like, okay, I'll watch it when it comes out.
Yeah.
But I'm not too excited. Not in a bad way. It's just, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely echoing that. Speaking of echo, this would be one of the shows where I wish they would drop everything all at once. I think this would be any show that really kind of predates a massive MCU story. Just drop it. Because to be kind of watching weekly for 30, 45-minute episodes on this, the hard part that we're always going to see, and this is probably going to be a common theme as we move along in some of this news that's dropping, is what does this do for the MCU? That's the big question that everyone's going to and has been asking for a lot of these projects. And the hard part is this specific project lives in a space in the MCU that really isn't fleshed out and doesn't have its own, right? We kind of get the cosmic, we get the street, those types of things, Avengers level, but without having Wanda even around, it's like, what's the point of this as well? So it'll be probably a fun watch. I don't know. They're gonna have to sell me pretty hard on this to be like, that was worth it.
Yeah.
They should have
Agreed.
dropped everything all at once.
Okay, here's a question, real
Absolutely.
quick, for everyone on TikTok and watching on YouTube. At this point in the MCU, is it a sign that a show is bad if all episodes drop at one time?
No. No, not at all.
I would say no. I wouldn't say so.
I was gonna say, just look at the fact of a bit of news, but Echo coming out in like the second most viewed Disney Plus series of last year. And I do think in part and reason is that it just dropped all at once. And did it have its issues? Absolutely. But was it bad? I don't think it was bad. But I don't think it would make the second most viewed Disney Plus series of last year if it didn't do what it did and drop all at once.
I agree.
It's a good strategy.
I think you have a lot of people discrediting Echo, saying because they knew it was trash, they dropped it all at once. However, I think there's something to be said about viewership decline week over week. Something Agatha might struggle with, so we'll see. Speaking of episodes for the MCU and Disney Plus, we got another confirmation that Daredevil is going to be 9 episodes long. We heard 18, we heard 13. Most shows fall around 6. This is going to be 9. This is a sweet spot that they settled on after they kind of went back to the table and revamped Daredevil. Gents, I'll start with you, Spider Brando. Is this good enough for what you're expecting from Daredevil Born Again? Is this the good length amount of episodes?
I think so. And just to add to it, it's slated to be released March 2025 as well. So just about 10 months. I think it's a nice spot. One issue I had when wanting to rewatch the old Netflix Daredevil, the seasons are freaking long. It's 18 hours to get through stuff. And as good as the episodes were, and I would love to just rewatch them, thinking about from that perspective, it's a little tough. But we haven't seen the MCU do a show over 10 episodes, and I'd be scared to see a show go over 10. I'm not gonna lie. So I think 9's a perfect sweet spot for it, especially after all the retooling they did with it and kind of. I saw an interview with Charlie and Vincent Dion. I can't say his last name, D'Onofrio, and they seem pretty hyped and content on how the 9 episodes were fleshed out. So
no,
I'm excited.
That new logo got me hyped.
Oh yeah.
Here's the only thing I'll say with this. I was hoping that this would be a little bit longer, given the amount of eyes that would be on the show regardless, because it's Daredevil. I think it was a really good opportunity for them to introduce cameo, crossover, kind of world build a little bit more. That's not multiversal focus, but build out that street level MCU, as this kind of leads into Spider-Man 4 and those types of things. Either they made cuts and just made those decisions to not include certain characters, or this is going to be another one of those MCU self-contained shows that it's really going to focus around, Daredevil and Kingpin specifically, and what cameos get. The stays aren't going to be too long. It's something that I did like. Elektra showed up in the Netflix series, and you're like, okay, she's going to stick around for a few episodes and be like, peace, I'm gone, and do her thing. So we'll see. I'll take what I can get. Nine's good. Nine's good.
Yeah.
What do we got next?
Spider Rando.
We got Ironheart will be releasing in 2025. I don't know when 2025, but at some point is all we know. What is your guys' hype level for this one compared to the other 2 shows we just talked about?
Can I have negative?
You say negative.
Negative hype.
I feel really bad for Ironheart, and I, by default, feel bad for Armor Wars. I feel like these are projects that could be really, really cool, and people ragged on Ironheart so hard during Wakanda Forever, and it just, I mean, she doesn't have the suit, so she's going to get a new suit anyways. But to that point, this is going to fall into that quality, expectation that everyone's kind of building for Marvel. And this show's been done. And there's really like, where does this fit in the greater scheme of the MCU? It's tough. But Jeremy, to that point, Sacha Baron Cohen is Mephisto. Rumor mill's still floating around on that, and we kind of have some mystical elements in a very technology driven character show. It's kind of odd.
That's the problem. That's the problem I think the show is facing, where you could really start setting up Armor Wars. Like if Justin Hammer is going to be the villain for Armor Wars again, which I think could work out if they do it right, this is where you start setting him up, and you start, setting him up through Ironheart's journey. But then the fact that we're like, oh yeah, they're going to bring in the Hood, and everybody's like, who?
Yeah.
And then they're like, by the way, maybe, possibly, out of all the other series and projects that he could have showed up in by now, just to let you know, Mephisto might show up too. And it's like, what? Why? Yes. Why would he show up here? But they're like, he's going to, though. Probably.
Anything. Why
maybe.
not Agatha?
And that's the thing. You would think that
Yeah.
Agatha would make more sense, and it would. But then they're like, no, we're going to drop him in Ironheart. It's dumb. I just feel like they should have released this so we could be done with it by now. But the fact that you've delayed it, I think, at this point, 2 whole years, because I think we were supposed to see it last year, like tail end of last year.
Yeah.
You've delayed it 2 years now. And here we are still talking about it, not even knowing a cent of what's going on in it.
Yeah.
It's
going to be tough to see. Shout out to Super Review Show. You are the best. But it's going to be difficult to see people buy into this, especially from a Disney Plus perspective.
Yeah.
They should roll this up and out, and doesn't make sense. But moving on to the next piece, we're going to get some DC news. Personally, super excited about this one, but DCU Supergirl is set for a June 26, 2026 release. That's big. A year after we get the first view of the new Super Goat, we're going to get a nice follow-up here. This has been quiet. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this, but this has been a very quiet release in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Very low-key. This gives me hope that we'll see Supergirl and Superman, at least for a little bit. I'm not saying she needs to have a major role, but maybe post-credit, if they do post-credit, or, just 1 or 2 scenes in the film, I think would be a nice setup. Because that way you don't have to wait that long, and hey, okay, I'm going to see Supergirl June 26th.
Yeah.
I have a question that I've seen on Twitter a lot, or X, I guess, a lot today. Are you guys very content that the DCU is starting off with 2, I guess, Superman branded projects? Does that make you have more hope for it? I've seen a lot of people saying like, wow, like the fact that like they're doing 2 Superman, Supergirl, and like sitting in on like the Superman brand. A lot of people have been going crazy over it. And as someone just getting into the Superman lore, I'm all about it. I'm all about this freaking Superman-esque like center DCU journey thing.
I think here's the thing, right? And you go back to the DCEU with one of the biggest mistakes that we've talked about, and especially in my opinion, is Snyder's Superman didn't stay true to who the Superman character was, which ultimately hurt everyone else that was associated with Superman, including the Justice League when it got to that point. If you set up Superman the proper way and you give us a proper Supergirl and the super part of the DC universe is set, it's going to make it so much cleaner for every other character, because DC is going to establish their world, and they're also going to establish their version of what justice is, that every other character, villain, hero, anti-hero can play off of, but you will have that core root of what is justice for the DCU. And that, I think, is one of the smartest things that you could do when launching a cinematic universe.
Yeah. And also the fact of them, it's a lot of people don't know Superman outside of Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a great opportunity to really flesh out the character and flesh out characters related to him. And something I think we said in an earlier discussion about Supergirl and why it's a good choice, especially with the rumors about how it's supposed to be a more she's supposed to be a little more serious and a little more like battle hardened.
Mm-hmm.
It can create a very nice like opposite viewpoint to Superman.
100%.
And again, can create a nice conflict between
100%.
them, but also get you to root for both of them, really. So yeah, and at the same time, what we also have to remember is animated series are going to be coming out between these. For example, Peacemaker season 2, I'm sure will come out in between this year as well.
Creature Commandos.
Creature Commandos. I'm also certain they will announce some other film. I'm sure the Batman 2 will come out, even though it's not an official DCU film. We'll still have enough other DC characters to keep us going that's not just Superman.
100%. Okay. Real quick, burn through these because we have a watch party to get to. Point 3's got a date with X-Men 97. But guess what? Surprise! Everyone's been begging for it. Marvel delivered. Hawkeye has reportedly been renewed for a second season. A report from My Time to Shine. But most importantly, we had news breaking that Marvel now has 3 separate divisions: Marvel Studios, Marvel Animation, and Marvel Television, where Marvel Studios' sole focus is going to be on film, that quality over quantity piece. Marvel Animation is going to be focusing on animated shows inside and outside of the MCU, and then Marvel Television is going to be focused on streaming and series content. Hero Scroll, what do we feel about these divisions? Is this a good move? And is Marvel and Disney, are they heading in the right direction to right the ship?
We've already been hearing issues of production for a while now. Again, just look at the fact, going back to Ironheart, a series that's been done, Captain America 4, a movie that's been done for a while now, and we still haven't seen it. It's been pushed back. I don't think Marvel right now has enough people overseeing in the right ways these projects so to now split it between 3 studios, I don't think is a great idea. It just makes me wonder, are you actually going to do this right? And with their track record as of right now, again, they could come out and absolutely change, I think, all of our minds on their quality perspective. But right now, it just seems like you're spreading yourself thin for no reason.
If they put the right people in place to like actually invest in it, I could see this doing wonders. But to me, I just gotta wait and see how it actually all turns out.
This to me comes off more of everyone's kind of blaming the quality aspect of this as everyone's blaming sorry, TikTok, there's nothing I can do about that one. Oh my gosh, it's gonna keep going. They just please stop. What I was going to say is it feels like this is a way to shift the blame, because everyone's looking at Kevin Feige, looking at Marvel Studios when it comes to animation, when it comes to the shows, when it comes to the movies. Like, we need the place to blame. And now with these 3 divisions, it's like, well, if you didn't like this animated show, don't worry about the other 2. Just worry about the animated studio. If you don't like Disney Plus, don't worry. The movies are going to be great. Quality is going to be up there. The issue that I have is they need to take this a step further, especially in the Marvel Studios side, and break out those internal divisions even further, because the issue that you're still going to have is cosmic. You're still going to have the street level stuff. You're still going to have that, and like Disney Plus and in the films still have to cross over at some point, right? So Jeremy's even saying if they stick to 2 to 3 movies a year and 1 to 2 Disney Plus shows a year, I think they'll be fine. Jeremy, I have a wonderful rebuttal to that. We still have a lot of shows that are being produced and are done today that are going to be releasing, you know, at that rate over the course of the next 4 to 5 years. So will people be very happy if Ironheart gets pushed to 2026 simply because they're just reducing the amount of releases on their schedule? Wonder Man, WandaVision, Wong Academy, those types of things. That's my concern. And overall, perception right now isn't great on the MCU, and they need a lot of really, really, really good to great projects to really shift what people think overall about the MCU in this saga specifically. So,
yeah,
work to do.
Yeah, big time work. Last piece of news before we head on out. Mortal Kombat 2 will release October 24th, 2025. Is that right? I thought it was this year.
Was it 2024? It's not 2025?
Someone fact checked us.
I thought it was fact checked us. I thought it was this year.
Let's check our note.
Archives.
We're archiving 2025.
Damn, someone's not on point with point 3 here.
Never mind. I thought this movie was coming out sooner. Listen, I've been following what the director's talking about on Twitter, and I thought he said this movie was done. I guess it's not. But there you have it. October 24th, 2025. Gotta wait another year for Mortal Kombat 2. But what you don't have to wait for is our reactions to X-Men 97, the finale. We're going to be coming back to you in about 30, 40 minutes. But if you want to be with us, go join our Discord. Spider-Man, throw it up there.
The overlay or the Discord?
Yeah, throw it up there. There you go.
Do both.
Watch party. Watch party. Discord. X-Men 97. Click on our links. Share with your friends. We'll hope to see you there. And if you can't make it, if you've already seen it, we'll, join us in the live reaction right after. We'll talk about the finale and the entire season. But until about 40 minutes, there's 3 things you need to keep doing. You need to keep reading. You need to keep nerding out. And we're going to go keep watching X-Men 97. Jeremy, thank you for reading. Everybody who joined in the live, thank you. We'll see you in about 40 minutes.